The moment you stop chasing, something shifts. Not in you, in them. Most men think walking away means losing something. They think staying proves loyalty, patience, strength. But the truth is, staying when you're no longer valued is what slowly erodes your position. It makes you predictable. And once you're predictable, you're easy to manage. Walking away isn't weakness, it's leverage. It's a shift in power that most people don't understand until they feel it happen to them. And there are 5 laws behind this shift. 5 laws that decide whether you're respected or quietly ignored. This isn't motivation. This is behavioral reality. Because the moment you understand what actually happens when you withdraw, you stop chasing validation and start controlling perception. Law 1. Availability kills respect. Absence builds it. When you're always there, always replying, always showing up, always explaining, you remove all tension from the interaction. There's no uncertainty, no risk, and without risk, there's no attention. You become part of the background, easy to reach, easy to ignore. But the moment you step back, something changes. Your absence creates space, and in that space, people are forced to notice what's missing. Not because you demanded attention, but because you removed your constant presence. Scarcity activates attention. It creates a quiet discomfort, and that discomfort pulls focus back to you. Most men try to gain respect by giving more time, more energy, more explanations. But respect doesn't come from abundance. It comes from controlled absence, from knowing when to step back instead of leaning in. Law 2. The one who can leave controls the situation. Control isn't about dominance. It's about who is dependent and who is not. The moment you start chasing someone, whether it's attention, approval, or understanding, you hand them control. You wait, you react, you adjust. But when you can leave without hesitation, everything flips. Now you're not reacting to the situation, you're defining it. You're not waiting for responses. You're deciding whether the interaction deserves your time. And people feel this shift immediately, because now they're the ones adjusting. They're the ones thinking about what they said, what they did, what changed. The dynamic moves from you trying to keep the connection to them trying to understand why it changed. The one who stays is controlled. The one who can leave is respected. Law 3. What you don't explain grows in their mind. This is where most men lose the advantage. They walk away, but then they explain. They justify. They try to make sure the other person understands their reasons. And in doing that, they destroy the tension that silence creates. Because silence leaves a gap, and the human mind cannot tolerate gaps. It needs closure. It needs answers. So it starts creating them. It starts replaying conversations, reanalyzing behavior, filling in missing information with assumptions. Why did he leave? Was it something I said? Is he done for good? Did I lose him? Now you're no longer present, but you're more mentally present than before. Not because you said more, but because you said nothing. What you explain gets understood. What you leave unexplained gets remembered. Law 4. Detachment is interpreted as strength. Most people operate from emotional reaction. They get upset, they argue, they chase clarity, they seek closure. And because of that, their behavior becomes easy to read and easy to influence. But when you walk away without emotional reaction, without anger, without pleading, without needing to prove a point, you create something rare. You show emotional independence. And people don't always understand it, but they respect it. Because when your actions are not driven by emotion, they appear controlled, intentional, grounded. You're no longer reacting to what happens. You're choosing how to move regardless of it. And that makes you difficult to manipulate. Detachment doesn't mean you don't care. It means your decisions are not controlled by what you feel in the moment. And that level of control is something most people don't have. Which is why they respect it when they see it. Law 5. The risk of losing you creates your value. Human psychology is simple in one way. People value what they might lose, not what is guaranteed. not what is always available, but what can disappear. Most men remove that risk completely. They stay no matter what. They tolerate behavior that lowers their value. They remain present even when they're no longer appreciated. And over time, they become replaceable. Because if there's no consequence to losing you, there's no reason to value you. But the moment you walk away, you introduce uncertainty. You create a possibility that you may not come back, and that possibility changes how people think. They start replaying interactions, reevaluating your presence, questioning their behavior, because now there's something at stake. The risk of losing you forces recognition of your value. And this is where the real shift happens. You don't demand respect. You don't ask for attention. You don't try to prove your worth. You simply remove your presence from where it is not valued, and let psychology do the rest. People begin to adjust, not because you told them to, but because your absence made them aware of what they lost access to. They become more careful, more responsive, more aware of how they interact with you, because now there is a consequence. And that consequence is your absence. Most men try to gain control by saying more, explaining more, staying longer. But all of that creates the opposite effect. It makes them predictable. It makes them easy to read, easy to manage. And predictable men don't command respect. They adapt to others instead of being adapted to. But the moment you understand these laws, you stop trying to hold on to every interaction. You stop reacting to every situation. You stop explaining yourself to people who didn't earn that access. You become selective, controlled, unreadable. And that changes everything. Because now people are not trying to control you, they're trying to understand you. And the moment someone starts trying to understand you instead of influence you, the power has already shifted. Most men stay and hope things improve. Few men leave and change the entire dynamic. The moment you can walk away without hesitation, without explanation, without emotional reaction, is the moment you stop being taken lightly and start being taken seriously.